You said, oh my God. We can't get the time. I need
Harry Fox.
There you go. Now we're
Hello,
good.
everybody.
Hi,
Mike, you gotta talk
everybody.
for a second.
We will. What's up, everybody? It's A.M.O.K time.
Oh my God, and we are running totally amok right
Oh
now.
yeah, right. Totally. It's a muck. It's all right though. We got this, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Absolutely. And I'm fixing my oh God. Well, y'all gonna see me fixing my image right here because it's all catawampus. There we go.
Adrian is actually working to get our guest tonight up and
For
running.
some reason Zoom
but
is being
It is. Ken, you did mention you had some Missouri things coming up, some Missouri
Yeah.
events.
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, I kind of went through a list a little while ago, and the list goes on and on and on.
Nice.
But let's see. I guess the next thing coming up, March 10th through the 12th, is the chocolate extravaganza.
Ooh.
That's held up in Hannibal, Missouri. So that's north of St. Louis, about an hour and a half. On April the 8th and 9th, we have it's called the KC Metaphysical something.
The fair.
Okay.
Fair
We're gonna try to
or
do this
something
different. Are you
at
hearing me?
Ameristar Casino
Yep.
in St. Louis.
Awesome.
So I'm being interrupted, so go ahead.
No, we can. I got to do a sound check. I've never done this before.
Okay.
Terry, are you there? Can you hear me? Apparently not. How about here? Can you hear me now, Terry?
Can you hear me now?
No.
No. How about now?
Can you hear me at all when I'm talking to the phone?
I deleted your capture, Pam.
My what?
Your image. Hang on, I gotta get it back.
All right.
No.
I know.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do that. All right.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. I saw me just
Wait a
blip out
minute.
on there.
Oh no.
Go ahead and talk.
Okay, while you're plugging in, May 13th, here at the Americas Center in St. Louis, we have the St. Louis Oddities Expo. That looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
June the 10th, I am going to be attending a PTF event out at the Pythian Castle. It's an investigation overnight in Springfield, Missouri.
Nice.
Let's see, on September 15th, I believe several of us are going to SilCon, which is in Effingham, Illinois. I know it's a foreign country right now, but
where is this at? When is this?
September 15th.
Got it.
SilCon, Village Square Mall, Effingham, Illinois. Okay. March the 17th through the 19th, there's the Planet Comic-Con. That's in Kansas City, Missouri. Apparently, a lot of big names are going to be out there, and from all different genres, I will call it.
Nice.
I found out tonight, I think Pam, you threw this out there, on August the 5th, the JOMO-Con is happening in Joplin, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Here in St. Louis, at the Bell Fountain Cemetery, which is the oldest cemetery in St. Louis, October 21st, there is the event called the Last Call End of Life Fest. I do hope to be going to that one this year. I couldn't go last year, but I heard it was really fascinating. September 17th, the weekends of September 17th through October 23rd, the Renaissance Festival here in St. Louis will be occurring in Wentzville, Missouri. That's from me. I'm in South County, so that's about 45 minutes from me, but just outside of St. Charles. And the other thing I came up with was on April 22nd, Paranormal Task Force is also holding an overnight investigation at it's called the Haunted Potosi Ghost Investigation in Potosi, Missouri. And that's about an hour and a half south of me here in St. Louis.
Nice.
I've been there several times. It's amazing. It's absolutely an amazing place. There's about 3 or 4 buildings. One of the oldest cemeteries in Missouri. I'm not going to say in the United States, but in Missouri, there are some folks buried there that were born and died before the Revolutionary War back in the
Wow.
1700s. There's at least 2 or 3 burial sites there in the cemetery, which is just an amazing place. So those are the things that I've come up with. That I had nothing last week, and now I've got a whole bunch of them this week.
Ooh, Nikki said that Mary Jane and her headed up to Salem in October.
Ooh.
Salem, Massachusetts. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you've never been, you need to go. It's amazing. But not in October's a rough time to go if you're not a fan of big crowds. But I was there in the summertime and it was great. Definitely worth the trip.
Never
Very
been.
cool. Haven't been there. No,
Kansas wise, I know the 11th of March, we have petroglyphs of the Kansas Smoky Hills at 2 p.m. at the Independence, Kansas Science and Technology Center. Should be pretty interesting. And then the next weekend on the 18th, Oddities and Enchantments in Bartlesville down in Shaw's neck of the woods. They're going to be doing a networking thing at 2 p.m. So those are the big things I had coming up here recent or
That's
soon.
what I got.
Well, I'm sorry for monopolizing it.
No, you're good. You're good.
But you were part of the one. I almost called it the Mojo. The Jomo. The Jomo con. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, Joplin.
We're still working on this end.
Yeah, that's all right.
I've never been to one, but I think it would be fun.
I had to send them the link so they can get to here, but we got it down.
There's a different one that helps.
They're going through Albuquerque, right?
Albuquerque.
Yeah, should have made that left turn at Albuquerque.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Let's see. What do I have coming up? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I'm working on a couple of investigations for my group and for another group that I hang out with and for our group. So those are all kind of in the works. And I believe if we get those things going, maybe we can do something live.
That would be fun.
Especially from, I will just say potentially Independence, Missouri. So that's kind of going on. Trying to find my schedule here. I know I'm going to be in some places. I do a lot because I'm on the border. I'm right there on the Mississippi River. I do a lot of investigating with a lot of different friends on the Illinois side, along with, Missouri. But I know I've got a couple things coming up over there. We're looking at maybe an old funeral home that's up in Jacksonville, Illinois. It's about an hour and a half north of me here. Just along pretty close to the Mississippi River. Another place up that way along the Illinois River, we're going to be going to, I think 6 of us, are going to a place called Cheney Mansion. That's up in Jerseyville, Illinois. Some of the folks who are online watching tonight, I know they've been there and they know about it. Some friends of mine. So we're looking at that, I believe can't remember when that one is, next month or so. Oh my goodness, what else we have going on here?
We're just gonna watch Adrian talk on the phone.
It's getting close to right.
This ain't gonna work, man. We're gonna have to figure this out some other time. This is terrible. I had such good questions for you, and you guys can't hear this. I can't see. I get my pod track ain't working. I can't get them through just voice on the phone.
That second link isn't working for him that I sent you?
Yeah, well, I wonder if hold on a second.
Pam,
Okay.
you
Scrolling
said it
up.
was close.
Hey, I think I know what to do here. I think I know what to do here.
You
Wait
getting
a
it?
minute.
Yeah, no,
It says it's connected. So he should be able to hear us. We should be able to hear him. But I don't hear him and he don't hear us. So this is really weird.
It's really
Elizabeth
weird.
said just put him on speakerphone and hold it up to the mic.
Yeah.
Not a bad
Yeah.
idea. It might work.
Well, that's the whole thing. I
Low
and I
tech,
tried
man.
this thing out. I'm telling you. All right. Hey,
Can you, I don't know. Shaw, could you help him walk
we're-
through it if he
right
calls
now,
you?
we're
I
in the
could
middle of a
possibly.
live show. So we're
No, I was gonna say it's getting
Go
close
ahead.
to time that we can get outside and get back to some of our old famous haunts. I'm really looking forward to it again. I know Jess and I were talking the other night that it's about time to get out and do some stuff.
Yeah.
Go back and see if you can find the jogger and the guy sitting in the
Yeah,
car.
see if he's still there. Wouldn't that be interesting?
That was an interesting conversation last week. I
It was a lot of fun.
really impressed. So
We have a lot of other really great evidence that we just need to get it all together to share with you guys sometime.
okay.
But yeah, some pretty fun stuff out there.
Oh, coming up on the 7th. Who do you have coming out on the show, Ken?
Oh, I have invited Paul and April Sywick, and they are from a group encrypted. I always want to say enchanted. I think encrypted souls paranormal. So we're going to talk next week about some of the common places that the three of us, or the three of us plus others, have investigated around the area, and they've got some interesting stories. I kind of gave a little teaser out there on the Facebook page a while ago, but they also do some, I'm going to call it urban exploring, but not often in urban areas, but more out in the country or whatever. So Wild Acre, if you want to call it that way, explorations, but they've done some outdoor stuff, and they have some interesting stories. And
Awesome.
one of them is, if we can remember, of course you guys hopefully will mention it too, but she had a story about coyotes.
Oh.
Not just one, a whole band of them, where they were on one of their escapades. So it was a crazy story. I'm like, really? So yeah, I'm hoping that they'll bring that up. And they also have a I'm just going to say they're going to try to introduce Geist to us. So that should be an interesting
Yeah.
I'm not going to divulge anything else about that, but Geist. I think Geist may also be a guest on the show. I don't know, or at least they'll talk about them.
If we can ever get Josh and Lisa on they're from Missouri, Kansas, that'd be for you. They have a really interesting story in regards to coyotes that they could not see, and the spook light over near Joplin. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Story. Yeah.
Adrian, did you figure it out?
I just actually what I did was I just waved the white flag. Somehow they're saying we use Zoom all the time, and she was trying to tell me I guess his wife was trying to tell me to send a link from Zoom because they were working on their phone. The link that I was sending them wasn't usable. They were saying
the second link or the first link?
Anything I sent wasn't working. So I don't know. I'm telling you what, we're actually going to talk a lot about spiritual warfare on this one. And I'm telling you, I'm going to tell the billions of people, right?
The billions and billions of people.
Billion and one.
We start the show at about a half hour before everybody else gets invited in, and try to work out troubleshooting. And here I am. I've not had any problem with my computer, not one, since we started this show. And here I go to click on the link, and it does this weird strobe thing with Zoom, started jumping up and down on my screen, and I'd pop up and it would go away, and it'd pop up and go away. And I'm like, okay, well, shoot, I just got to reboot. So I went to reboot my computer. My computer took 20 minutes. It didn't come online to where I was on the show until like 2 minutes before it was go time.
Oh
And
my.
and then of course my guest is having issues as well. So here we are
Wow, that's
going to be
weird.
talking about spiritual warfare, and we got our butts handed to us. So I tell you what,
By
tell you
the
what I'm gonna do.
spirits.
I tell you what I'm going to do. And because we're going to reschedule Terry because he's got a great
Okay.
story, he's got a great thing to talk about, and I think a lot of people are going to
Sounds
be interested
awesome.
in what he has to say. But it might be really deep. And what I'm going to do is we're going to get together, we're going to talk, and I'm going to pre-record, and we're going to have a lot of shows. It's going to be more than an hour because we're going to go, and I'm going to break it up into several different things. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, however long it takes to get, because we got to really dive into this thing. So we'll actually do it as a one-on-one type interview, and I'll run that up. Maybe if we can get the Zoom figured out, we can have them on a show. That'd be great.
Well, we can always practice this on like a weekend before.
Well, it's one of those things. They said they use Zoom, right? So it's no problem.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't have been a problem. So I don't know what
Oh.
the deal was. And like I said, I use my computer all the time. I don't
Mhm.
usually have a problem. And then boom, I had the problem. So I was, it's gonna
Tonight was
Good-
not the
a good-
night, was
a
it?
good thing there wasn't a microphone in here other than this one that was turned off. I was going through this stuff because it would not have went well. But I had notes. I had
Oh
stuff
my
I'd ready to go. I was
Oh,
gonna go.
man.
I was gonna go, Pastor Fox. It says here, but no. Fine.
That's a
Fine. Anyhow,
bummer.
Well,
glad
I
you
could
guys-
always reach out to them and see what I could do to help them out if you'd like.
we'll work it out. We'll work it out. I got
You got backup plan?
I've already got somebody scheduled for my next Arkansas date, and that's Caroline Spear, and that's going to be that'll be a good one. And maybe I have maybe I can have Pastor Fox on the following time. But then I got a lot of guests coming.
Good
I've got
deal.
pretty much everything scheduled to October. So I've got guests. I've got guests for you all. If you guys are going, I don't know who I'm going to interview. I've got guests
Good
from every one
deal.
of those states. So
Awesome.
anyhow,
Because that works for me.
that worked for me. No, that's okay. I'm one of those people. I can pretty much pivot on just about anything because I can talk about anything. I can keep going. But like Ken was talking about upcoming stuff and his future. Well, I guess you're talking about next week. I had to have you turned off because I had people talking in both ears, and I was like, my ADD was going crazy. Anyway.
I was whispering to you.
Oh yeah.
Hurry up, hurry up.
In my mind, I was doing the same thing. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Actually, today had been a beast.
It has. I was
so-
cranky most
so
of the
this
day
actually-
today.
So this actually, it just going on with the whole
Par for the course, huh?
theme of the day. So I tell you what, I don't know what people believe as far as Christianity goes, but I do believe that it's there is warfare going on, and we'll talk since we're going to talk about that anyway. I guess we can continue talking about it. Just be my perspective. Let's go. Let's go all about Adrian because apparently, anyhow,
Sounds good.
because I'll tell you what, the devil won't stop me.
Mm.
And he tried several times. So, but when it comes down to Christianity and the paranormal, I see a lot of teams. Actually, when I first started, there wasn't very many teams that were out there that were Christian. That's the reason why we started the team back in 2006. But now you'll find several of them that are out and about, or they'll say they're Christian. And I'm not judging because I don't know them or don't know their heart, but I do know that they'll put themselves out there. You'll see people with collars right? Some with hats. And they'll be like, I'm the Reverend blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
You know what they are? I got a minister's credentials. I'm ordained 7 times on the
Oh
internet.
my God.
I've got a minister's handbook. I've got this stuff. I can marry people. I can do that stuff. That means nothing. It so a lot of people use that stuff out there to put them out there as like a marketing ploy. But you can get into a situation easily, and you think you got all this stuff because you got all the paraphernalia. But you can get into a situation real fast, like I did with my team, and get your backside handed to you. And I'm not going to go too deep in that because I don't want to tell the billions of people. I'll tell the few people in small, intimate talks. That's what I do my presentation on. But that's why I wanted to talk about to Pastor Fox, because he says he does, according to this down here, he does deliverance ministries, which is kind of interesting. I wanted to dig into that, but he does house cleansings and blessings. I wanted to get how he did cleansing. Now you guys, and I'm saying you guys, I'm talking to you and not to the billions. I'm talking to you, my co-host. Do you guys do cleansings of homes?
Yes, I have.
What do you do?
Well, it depends on their religion. There were some that were pagan, so I had at the time a pagan in my group, and I had him do the cleansing.
Okay.
And another time was a Christian group, and we went in with sage and holy water and scriptures from the Bible, and went around the house and blessed it, and told them that if they continue on with their Ouija board playing or whatever they were doing to bring it in there, it was going to continue on, because they tried to call us back again the next weekend. I was like, no, that house was fine.
Sometimes
So
it is. Sometimes it's the
yeah,
people themselves.
yeah. And
We've done
you
the
find out a
same.
bunch of stuff after all is said and done, and you start talking to them more, and you start realizing the stuff that they're into, and
Yeah.
so. But
Well,
yeah, it's
when-
all about that. And there's Indian, I have an Indian friend that knows how to do Indian blessings, so I would call them if it was the case. So it just depends on their religion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're right. You have somebody who specializes in that way, and you're dealing with people on their level or their religious thought process. I have
Mhm.
one religious thought process. I'm very single-minded when it comes down to that. And if people don't understand that from me, then I'm not saying it loud enough, and I need to. But I don't cleanse homes. I will do the sage, right? I'll do that and I help knock things back. I actually like to train the people to do it. I want them to do it. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily want to do it. I'll do it the first time basically to train them how to do it.
Yeah.
But you know as well as I do that you go into the place and they're like, my God, I have got a demon in my house. And so what we do as a team, RVPRI, what we do is we go and try to discern what this entity is. I'll say that out of all the investigations that we've done, we've only encountered one house that we'd consider a demonic oppression, infestation, and we did not cleanse that house. The clients cleanse the house, because if I come into your house, and I'm hoping Pastor Fox will say the same thing, which is why I question he does cleansings, because if I come into your house and cleanse the house and I cast anything out, right? For one, I'm not doing it on my own power. Right.
No.
But
Correct.
if I cleanse the house, or I am the vessel that helps that happen, then I leave. The power that I had to help clean that house is with me and not them. then they can be in a much worse situation that they were in. So
That
that's
is
why
true.
I say, get a little theological here. Jesus said, I'll never leave you, nor will I forsake you. He also said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am as well. It's not me cleansing the house. And it's not you cleansing the house. It's Jesus coming in there and knocking the demons out. That's the only power that I know. So when people ask me to cleanse their house, first thing I ask them is if they're a Christian. And then I go from there, and then I preach to the people. I tell them, and I point out the things. I let them know that they have that power to cleanse the house. Because it doesn't matter what kind of collar I'm wearing, what kind of hat I've got on. It doesn't matter if I'm wearing a suit or jeans. It doesn't matter what I've got or what I'm bringing with me. It's who I'm bringing with me, right? And if it's me, then they have nothing to guard them, nothing to stay there. So I teach them or preach to them and point to them things that they should already know. And the one house that I would say was a demonic infestation, that's exactly what they did. And they went in there, and I'm telling you, this house was scary. And if you've heard my presentation, you understand it's a scary place. Scary things happen. Not all the time do we go in there. It's just a fun little haunting. Sometimes the darkness fights back, and it can really just waylay you, and not just you, your entire team, which it did. I think it did my team. So this thing was a nasty little thing, right? Like I said, they were, when I told them I thought there was a demonic infestation, the family's like, they started going to the movies. Do we need to call the Catholic Church? What do we need to do? And that's when I preached to them and told them those 2 things, those 2 very powerful things. And that's what they did. They went through and they prayed through the house. And we had an opportunity to investigate the home afterwards, and it was totally different. It was like walking into any normal house. It was a comfortable house, where the first time we investigated, it was the exact opposite of comfortable. So that's why I like to talk about this stuff. I like to talk, when I do my presentations, I like to talk to investigators, because a lot of investigators handle the situations like that. They walk into a house like that and they're like, woohoo, because I was woohoo.
Woohoo!
Yeah. I was like, right on. That's what I wanted. I wanted like a movie type of haunting. No, you do not. Because most of
you
these
do
people
not.
go in there. Most of these people go in there and they think they got it all done. I prayed
No.
before I went into this investigation. I still got my backside handed to me. And so will you. If you go in there thinking that you're all that in a bag of chips, you can wind up in a very bad way. And that's why I like this. And I want to talk to Pastor Terry or Fox, because I wanted to see what his opinions are on that. And we're going to get a little deep, and who knows?
Mm.
Well, I mean, and I know that we have people from all different kind of religious backgrounds.
Mhm.
And while I know a little bit about this and know a little bit about that, I don't really know how to handle stuff like that. And we ran into one situation in Oklahoma. We was once again one of those small nowheresville towns, and went in there, and the whole story was they were being scratched. They were hearing laughter. One of the stories was his girlfriend was pulled down the hallway by her hair. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but they were saying it's definitely a demon. It's definitely a demon. And then so I come at it from my angle, right? And he's like, "Well, I don't believe in Jesus." I'm
Oh.
like, okay, but you believe in demons?" He's like, "No, I don't do that religion stuff." I said, "Well, but you
Yeah,
tell me it's a demon." And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I can't help you."
Mhm.
And I left
right.
because I didn't have anybody in there that handled it a different way. And I know that if it was a demonic, which I seriously don't think it was, but if it was a demonic thing, if I were to knock that thing out of there and leave the house, if he don't believe in Jesus, then that thing's coming back with 7
With
of
his
his bigger
buddies.
and angrier men, or demons,
Yeah.
what you call them. And I'm like,
Okay, I'm gonna
Mhm.
insert
Go ahead.
this real quick. Nikki on YouTube said, I heard it's not good if people cleanse their own house, with the exception of personal prayers, but for cleaning their own demons. I was told before that it was dangerous and could anger the entity.
Anything can anger the entity.
Actually,
Yeah.
Nikki, and you met me. Nikki has. Yeah.
Mhm. Hi,
I
Nikki.
think, I think it's backwards. I always tell people don't investigate your own home, because then you're
Right.
actually inviting things to communicate with you. That's why we have other teams come in. My house is haunted. I have never investigated it. Okay. Because I hear the sound, I'm like, hee, and I go on. Right. Because if I engage with it, they don't want to continue engaging with me. And I don't really think they have any concept of time. I don't think they do.
I
And
think time runs differently for them.
and they just keep at, and they, you try to communicate with it, it's going to keep trying to communicate with you. Cleansing different. Now, if you're talking about just normal spiritual power, spirit entities, ghosts, and you're saging the house, that's fine. You do that. Do as much as you need to have. If it's something demonic, you have to do it yourself. Actually, you're not doing it yourself. You're doing it through the power in you, right? So if you got, that's why I say, where 2 or 3 got it in my name, there Jesus is as well, right? So if it's something demonic, then it is up to you to do that. You can call, like I said, don't call somebody in to help you. You might call somebody in to help increase your faith in the moment. And it's okay for them to be there with you, but it doesn't have to be anybody special. That is what's so great about Christianity. Although we have people out there who are like bigwigs on TV with the plastic hair and all that stuff, those people are into marketing. That's what they're into. I'm into Jesus, and Jesus says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am as well. He said, I'll never leave you, nor will I forsake you. And that is what I believe. And that is from the book. And I can't help it. Get me
She
fired
said
up.
she's
Get
she
me
said
on my
she's done
soapbox.
she said she's done benign blessings in the house for the sake of having peace and light, but has never directed it towards an entity. And she said, hi, Ken.
Hi, Nikki.
And she does agree with the investigation part as well.
Yeah, it's just one of those
Mhm.
things, and I get it too, because a lot of people get their start that way. My house is haunted, and it's actually the reason why I started the team, because we've experienced things before, but I just blew it off and was like, oh, well, that's neat and that's interesting. But I saw a full body apparition in my house, and then I went to my pastor and I was like, hey, dude, man, I got a ghost in my house. He's like, no, there isn't.
No.
And I'm like, yes, there is. So I mean, that is actually why I started the team. But I never changed my angle, and it's never shook my faith. Everything that I've encountered has actually strengthened my faith. So it's kind of interesting. But like I say, I don't want to get too. I get kind of preachy when I talk about it, because to me, that's why I'm here. Because I do believe that there's a difference between a ghost and a demon. I believe there's a difference between a demon and an angel. And when I go out there and I'm investigating, like I said earlier, everybody, I believe it's a demon in my house. So why the demon? It's because it's black.
No.
Because if it's dark, it's got to be evil. And that just, I mean, that's not the truth. But people go from, they take these TV shows and these movies, and that's how they portray everything. And then we have to go in there and re-educate them. Now, yeah, if I'm coming to your house and you're not a Christian, I don't sit there and just go preachy, but
Richie.
I do try to educate that what that dark mass was, because this gentleman that I've seen in my house, and like I said, it's 5'7" cylinder build, crew cut. I mean, I saw him really good, but I believe he's the only entity in my house, and I've seen him as a short, wide, blobby shadow. I've seen him in a really super tall, thin shadow. I've just seen him in all different kind of ways. So I don't think what we see is necessarily, we see things, but I'm not going to say it's incorrect, but the way we perceive what we see
Mhm.
isn't always what we see. You know what I mean? I don't know how to. I'm trying to say, but I'm just
I ran across something recently in some research that I was doing, and it talked about the fact that what we see, what we perceive, is based on what we have words for. If we have no way to describe it, then we are more likely not to see it, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So there's more than likely an entire world, which would include the spiritual world, that we can't see because we have no way to describe it.
yes.
You know what I mean?
And Six Gun says, when you mean black mass. I don't know what he's saying. Maybe what you mean by black mass.
When you mean
It's like just a dark shadow,
no.
not necessarily up against the wall kind of shadow, just a mass.
It's darker than the dark around it,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So it never really looked like
But
a shadow person looked like a person.
Right.
You just
not always.
well
Predominantly the shape of one, but not always though. Because they're I've seen some in daylight that are actually moving, so they don't really look like a figure, like head, arms. You can kind of see shoulders and a body along potentially, but maybe a smaller section for like a head or whatever. But they don't always look like bodies though. I've seen black, I'll call them clouds.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I say, a black mass.
Exactly. It's a black mass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like a shadow person looks like a person is standing there, not up against the wall, it's just there, but you don't see any space. But see, I don't think a shadow person, a black mass, or a full body apparition, I think they're all the same type of entity.
Okay.
And I could be wrong, but I'm only going by what I've
Based
seen.
on your experience, yeah.
Yes, not by what I've read on books or heard on TV shows.
Mhm.
I live in a haunted house. I've had the great advantage of being able to routinely go to a very haunted location with everything that you could possibly think of, which is I'd go to this thing back when I was watching the TV show, and all the TV shows like, I've never seen that. I'm like, wow, man, I've seen that in my first 6 weeks at the Paranormal Investigator. These people sucked. So, yeah, I have been really lucky, but because I've had that experience, that's why I'm saying I could just talking about what I've seen here. I've got one entity. I've seen him in the little blobby shadows. I've seen him as a shadow person. I've seen him as a person. I think it's all the same person. It's all depend on the quality of light at the moment. When I saw him as a full body apparition, it was well lit.
Oh.
So, but I've seen him in the hallway. I've seen him downstairs. Tina's seen him several times, and I love hearing her stories. And one of these days, maybe she'll come on to the show and tell us her experiences because it's pretty cool. But like I said, when I started the team, it was mainly because I wanted to discern. I wanted to understand, because I come from the mind frame that anything spiritual out there had to be evil. And then I'm experiencing things in my home. This thing isn't evil. And I think there's a clear difference. So I had to study. And that's why I wanted to really get into this with Pastor Fox, but you know how that turned out.
Leslie said, Adrian, you might recall a few months back when I said I was saging my apartment. With that said, I don't know what it was, but it got my attention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and people think that's weird too. You'll have your pagans going, well, burning sage, that's a pagan thing. But if you talk about the throne room of God, what's in there, that smoke and fire and really scary looking angels, it's just one of those things. It works. Why does it work? I don't know. But I will say that it does work. But sage, as Leslie should know, and just about anybody on here I see chatting, it may not work right away, or it won't work permanently.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about. It might put at bay until something
Yes,
else can be
it'll
figured
knock
out.
it back, and it may come back, and you may have to do it again and again. Most people may have to do it a few times, and then whatever it is just goes away. So I don't know if it, and that's what I don't understand about it. I and maybe one of these woo-woo people can tell me. I don't know if it's something that actually, if it pushes it back, or if it repairs that thinning of the veil that allows them to be seen, to be heard, to be whatever. So I don't know exactly how it works. I just know that as a scared person in a house down the street, and you got something in there bugging you, it works. But if it's a demon, all you're going to do is piss it off.
Oh, absolutely.
So
And
saging is great, but it doesn't work on a demon. And I'm going to use a little colorful language, so you children out there, plug your ears. Tina says, and it's true. She says, people talk about, what about these mean ghosts? And she said, if you're an asshole in life, you're an asshole in death. So just because it's mean doesn't necessarily mean it's demonic. Demons have a mission. They're there, and it's not like the TV stuff. They're not just there. They're not. Well, I mean, they're scary, but they're not there just to scare. As a matter of fact, in the one demonic case that we dealt with, most of it was good. So what they're trying to do, what a demon
Yes.
tried to do, is try to
Get you to-
divide, right?
get you to trust them.
Well, yeah.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what happened with
Children
this family.
are
Yes.
Mhm.
Did you say my name?
Karen said,
children.
Adrian,
Children.
isn't it the same as protecting your house from vandals? You wouldn't call someone in to tell them to go away, leaving you to fend for yourself. Always protect yourself and your family.
Well, yes. And it's one of those things. When I talk to a client, I handle it differently. My presentation is good to talk to everybody, but if you really listen to the core of my presentation, I'm talking to you, the investigator. Because when we walked into the home, I got excited, and I put my entire team in real danger. And it like I said, I don't want to get too deep into that, but when you go into something, it's great to investigate, but you got to know that there's a limit to what you can do and what you can't do. Now, I'm a medic. I'm trained. I'm really good at what I do. Do I know a little bit more of what I can do? Sure. I'm an X-ray tech. Can I do nursing stuff? Little bit, sure. But I have a limit to that knowledge. And if I thought, oh, well, hey, I got scrubs on, I can go do this. I've seen it on TV. I understand. I've read a book or two. I can do this. No, I can't. Right? They've got a skill set. Same thing with us paranormal investigators. I had no business being in that home. I should have took everybody out. Hey, look, let's get somebody in here with got actual more experience in there. I don't know how that would have turned out, because I think they actually needed a Christian group in there, and they handled it a certain way. I didn't do anything but tell them where to go and how to handle the situation. They handled it right. I tended to get a little, I guess, prideful afterwards. And then I went through mine, because sometimes those things that you kick out, well, there's no way to banish them. People think you can. Sure. Right. That sounds good in a book. It's great for movies. But in the reality, they leave you, they go to someplace else, and they create havoc. After the home there, the havoc was me. And I didn't understand it until it's too late. So,
Yeah. I have had quite a few people reach out to me online or even contact me on my phone, because I have my number up on a couple of paranormal sites. And they will tell me, I think I have a demonic thing in my house, and they'll give me a little bit of information what's going on. I say, well, if it's demonic, it's out of my expertise. And I'll go to a priest friend of mine. I think you know him too, Adrian. But Priest Casey, Padre Casey Scruggs, I'll go to him and I'll say, there's this person telling me they have this problem and they think it's probably demonic, but I don't want to deal with it because that is not my expertise. And I want to refer them to you if that's okay. And 9 times out
Yeah.
of 10, he'll tell me, well, let me see if I can find somebody in that area, and he'll help me out to try to find somebody. But yeah, if it's demonic, because I have kids, I tend to not stray that way or towards that because I don't want to bring that home.
And you very easily can. And
Yeah.
people think, oh, that's okay. I'm protected. I prayed.
I still believe in God, and most people still believe in God that we're possessed by demons as well. And
all possessions were Christians.
yeah,
All
so the
possessions.
tests.
All possessions were Christians. Anyhow, I put it this way. It's great to pray. Fantastic. I pray, right? And we'll pray as a team. I don't always do that because, like I said, I had some non-Christians on my team, and I didn't want to force my religious beliefs on my team members and stuff. So I let it up to them. If they wanted to pray in a circle, that's great. We'll do it. But I tell them, prayer is good. Prayer gives you armor. But if you look at the battlefield throughout history, those battlefields are littered with people in armor. Just because you have that does not mean that you won't get hit. It doesn't mean that you're so protected that you're not going to get wounded. And what's sad is so many people will do this, and I've seen it in many cases where people will go through situations and then they fall away because they just couldn't deal with the wound that was hit, the wound that they received. I know several Christian paranormal investigators who are no longer Christian, right? Now they're pagan or Wiccan, or I don't know if you consider the pagan different than Wiccan, or I guess as a Christian, it's all pagan. Unless you're Christian. I don't know. I'm not a judgy kind of guy. So I get that way. I sound that way sometimes when I get all on my soapbox, but I'm not that kind of guy. But anyhow, just good to pray, but don't think you're totally safe because of that.
Right.
Because you're still gonna get hit.
Nikki said, what do you mean all possessions are Christians?
Because if you look at the known possessions cases, it was always a Christian family. A demon, what is a demon's goal? See, a demon's goal
Steal
is
your soul.
it's not steal your soul. Yeah.
Steal your soul.
Make you
They
stray.
Pull you away from.
They pull you away from exactly.
From your almighty being, whoever it might be.
Their job is to destroy your testimony and ruin the family.
Yeah.
That's why they're winning. Look at the family groups nowadays. It's a terrible situation. But what they do is they go after people who are full of faith and families and divide that family, because it is the oldest tactic in that divide and conquer. The strongest group is a family group, a strong family group. And they hate that because there's strength in numbers. And nowadays we've gotten to a situation where it's all about self and not about us. It's about me, and then there's them, instead of us against them. And that's why I think currently we're experiencing the issue that we're having on a spiritual level. But if you look at all the what do you got? Any of your famous possessions. Do a little research. Don't talk about just the movie. Do a little research on the possessions and why they were there and what was going on beforehand, and it's just pretty wild. Crickets.
Yeah, right.
Well, I kind of see where you're coming from on, the Christian part of it, but I believe there's at least one, maybe two examples in the Bible. They weren't Christians.
Well, then you're talking.
But hold on. But after they were cured, they did become Christian.
Exactly.
So you're saying you can't really say it that way, but
if you want to go back that far, no, because there were no Christians until actually,
until about 70 or 90, until about 90 AD.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. But there was a reason for that, right? So, but.
Well, and I'm not refuting you. I'm just saying that.
We can go crazy deep into that.
People are going to say, "Oh, you're wrong," and I'm just giving two examples that I know that didn't fit with what you said. But predominantly, it's a splitting of, and it's not just Christians though either. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's just it's anybody. It's anybody who is devout and trusting in whoever their highest power is.
Yeah.
And it could be any religion.
Well, and Muslims deal with demons as well.
And I really think that the highest power, it's the same being for everybody.
There are a lot of paths to the same thing.
Well, my belief in because this is the way I believe, and this is how I've always believed. I do believe there's a higher being, but I believe all religions kind of come from one specific religion. So they all kind of tie together anyway in some sort of phenomena of religious.
Well, that's why people like to point out, there's the same story in this religion that predated Christianity, and the same story that and this and blah blah blah, and they're all the same thing. Of course, they all have the same story. They're all prophecy, and they're all and yes, well, they might and they may call their supreme being by another name, but there's only one God. And but
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I get what
there's one high, just general, there's one high power spirit.
Yes,
I'll just say it that way. And what you want to call that spirit, I don't care. You can call him a dandelion. I don't care.
A dandelion.
I've told people that because I know they weren't Christian.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care who your highest power is. Whoever you absolutely trust, that's the one you need to rely upon. That's kind of the way I present it to people, because I've done some cleansings too, but nothing really bad. And I have a hard time believing there's as many demons out there that people say, because most of the people I have talked to, I've done a lot of private investigations over the years.
Elizabeth says it's the force.
Well, there you go. Okay.
It is.
She can call it the force. Yeah. I don't care what the name is, It could be French fry. I don't care. It doesn't matter, because it's all the same. It's the same thing. But, as far as demons too, I get calls all the time. Oh, we got this demon in the house. I said, okay, hold on. First off, tell me about what's going on. They'll start saying different things. Oh, things have been thrown, thrown around, moved, hidden. We hear voices, we hear footsteps, we see shadows. I could just be grandma wandering around still, that's who's already gone, just wandering around. But first question I ask them after they tell me their long stories is, and I don't doubt them because something is happening. Question I ask is, okay, things are being thrown. Biggest question it tells me is, are they throwing them at you or near you? Answering that question tells me a whole lot about a whole lot of stuff. If it's at you, okay, you either got a mean spirit, you got, they have moods. I have proof of that. They have moods. They can be angry. They can be pissed off about something that you're doing because they don't like what you're doing. It could be their nature, like you said before, or it could be just anything. But but anyway, I've kind of going off on that one. But a lot of times
there's some religions that think any ghost or any entity is a demon.
Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree. And it's
And
It's
and
been
that's and that's kind of why like I say, I keep going back to why I started the group, because
sure.
you go into, you're sitting in a pew at church and your house is haunted, and you go to the pastor and they're like, there is no such thing, or they go straight to all that stuff is demonic,
Mhm.
and blah blah blah. And so of course people are terrified.
I've heard it.
And
Yep.
then of course, and I've seen people mention it on the chat here, the TV shows don't help, because the TV shows, as one in particular, it's always demonic, and he's always getting possessed, and
Joseph Adrian, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
it's just one of those things. But that doesn't help, because
No,
people think
they believe it.
that, yes, and
Eh,
Well, and it's fearful
automatically
if you
they've got
hear
some
something and
demonic
you
in
don't
their
understand
home.
what it is.
Well, not only that,
Exactly.
if you trust those people, I mean,
And that's
yeah,
the
you can't
scary
trust
part,
everybody on
because they're
TV.
putting themselves out as experts and they're saying everything
Yes.
they come across as demonic. Then people that watch those shows religiously and feel like they are telling the truth all the time, and that it's not reality TV, which speaks volumes right there, because it's scripted. 99% of the time reality TV is scripted.
There are no
I've
experts
talked
in
to
this
several of these
field.
people
None.
on TV, off of camera, and the way they present themselves on the camera versus what they really believe over here is different.
Yep.
When you're
And that's
watching
the
TV,
sad
and
thing. You
nothing
should
against the
totally
TV
be
program,
honest, because that's what puts false trust into people, and what makes people not trust the others that are actually out there to try to do good for people.
and that's the thing. But we all have to realize that TV programs are there for entertainment.
Hell else. I
Exactly.
mean,
100%.
and hey, no, they're successful too, and I like the fact that they're out there, because they've opened a lot of doors for us to
they
do
have.
They
things.
have.
They
So
have.
I like it. Now like I said, I'd like to be one of the dumb people who's on TV running around making money, going and having fun. But I'm just a poor slob who actually has to go to work every day and earn a
Yep.
real living. Actually, I have
Me
fun doing that
too.
too.
I
because
wonder how much fun they're really having, though, because
They
I'm
have
sorry,
to
but I
stick
know in
to
the
certain
years that I have
goals.
done this, rarely is an investigation exciting.
well,
Rarely is it exciting. Rarely does it
it
pop up enough to make a TV show to produce weekly.
it's fun if you're doing it. Okay, I'm filming a show, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
And some shows are like, and like I say, I don't like the dog on any show, but there's one specifically that I keep bringing up without actually saying the name. But
When I sneezed.
but I've been on the show too, so I'm saying, but it's like, okay, blah blah blah, and then showtime, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they
Yep.
have to, and they put on this character. So
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm me, no matter what time you get me.
Exactly.
And I'm going to shoot it the way I see it, or the way I know it. I don't try to escalate a ghost story to make my show sound better. I'm not trying to go, did you see that? And there not be anything there.
Right.
Matter of fact, if you investigate with me, you better be honest, because I will do that. Tina will do the same thing. Did you see that? And you're like,
Yeah.
no.
Just to
Okay.
catch people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd say, you see that? And they're like, yeah. What is that? Okay.
Nothing.
There's
We're
nothing there.
kind of jerks that way, but because I want to know if you're honest or not.
Mhm.
I'm honest. If I don't see anything, if there's a point, you see that? I'm like, no. And then I'll change position, because I know that I could be here and see something, and over here I can't. So
Mhm.
maybe if I can't see it, maybe I need to come over here and I see it. It is what it is.
Well, it's kind of like at that place that we can't name that
That-
we've investigated. I mean, there's stuff that you've honestly said you didn't hear. Of course, you're deaf like me. But
And not everyone may hear it
No.
too at the same time.
um,
That's happened before with us.
And
Oh,
when it
we've
comes down
actu-
to sounds, is it something that's actually being heard, or it's being projected?
well,
Mhm.
somebody had said something to me about our hearing aids, because I wear hearing aids, and I know you wear hearing aids, Adrian. They had said that, well, if a spirit can speak through a ghost box or a digital, why couldn't they just speak through the hearing aids? And I'm like, well, you got a point.
Yeah.
That is a good
So
point.
what I may hear, the digi may not pick up, and other people may not, and I'm just gone crazy and lost my mind. But you know. But they have a point. I can't sit there and say, well, no, that's not possible because my hearing aids are Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And it very well could be possible. I just
Well,
hope that my Digi picks it up at the same
I turn mine
time.
way up, the sensitivity way up, so I can hear things. I hear things, and then I guess when I investigated with y'all, you had the ghost box thing going like that in my ears.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
like, y'all are
yeah.
killing me. Anyhow,
No, I love
Sorry,
it.
I'm not
Adrian.
complaining or anything.
We gotta get a portal box. That way you don't have that.
I just heard you say Ken.
But
But
Oh my
it was
gosh.
good. It was good times. Good times.
it is good times. We got to do it again. I can't wait to do it
We
again.
do got to do it again. We anyhow, speaking of doing things, we've done an hour, and although it's only been like 45 minutes with me on it because I was trying to get my guest to work out, but it didn't work out. Like I said, we'll figure it out one way or another. One way or another, we're going to talk to Pastor Fox, and you're all going to have to hear it. I hope you enjoyed hearing me ramble about my stuff, and although I said I'd possibly get a little controversial, I know I do. It always does when you bring religion into the mix of things. But
Leslie had a good point. She was talking about how her hearing aids are analog. She didn't have digital ones. But I had analog ones for the
what does
longest
that
time.
mean?
I didn't get
What's the analog one versus a digital one?
well, I think she means the
Is it
ones that don't have
dial?
Bluetooth.
Is it like a reel to
The
reel?
one you have to roll to turn the volume up.
Oh, okay. I was
yeah.
I was thinking of reel to reel on the side.
But well, I had mentioned hearing aids, Karen. But before I got these, I just got these this year, and mine were just turn up the volume hearing aids. And that's when I heard stuff that I hope my Digi got. I'm still reviewing evidence. But you just hope that when you hear something, you hope to God your digital got it or somebody's digital got it too, because especially with us wearing hearing aids, we want to make sure we're hearing what we're hearing and not just something coming out of the blue. Thank you, LT.
Well, I've been in situations where we're investigating, and there's, let's say, 4 of us in the room. Each of us have actually heard something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
A different word, a different sound. It sounded like a squeak. It sounded like a scraping sound. It sounded like yes. It sounded like whatever. And I've also been in rooms where something has happened in there, something visual. We've all seen different things.
Oh, that's wild.
And some of the people don't see it, some do. So I really think that spirit has a way to control what energy is being emitted to different people.
Well, that's what I said. Is it something that you're actually hearing, or is it something that you're projected onto you? Yeah. I get what you're
okay.
saying.
Yeah. So, I've had plenty of situations like that.
Hey, Ken, Leslie said, "You're right, Ken."
Oh, 6 gun. I am part deaf in my right ear.
Actually,
Thank you.
I actually screenshot this, so you always have proof for the rest of your life that somebody said you're right. No, we're not. I don't want to know what she said you're right about, because we just make
I'm not left. I'm right-handed.
We'll make that a
Thank you,
blanket
Chris.
statement. You're right, Ken.
Leslie, thank you. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Karen, also.
But those with hearing aids, you are still able to hear some stuff coming out on Digis and everything else. You may have to turn the volume up a little extra. That's why I want to get that instant, like what's his face has, Pam. Where you can hear it right then and there after you ask the question.
Oh yeah. He's just got a voice recorder and he plugs his headphones into it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, see, it probably wouldn't be loud enough for me.
We've done that.
Yeah.
Drive Tina crazy, because what it is you hear things. It's kind of a delay, so you're hearing everything double, and it makes her eye twitch. Hey, I started saying this early. I said it earlier in the show. I've got a couple of guests coming up, and then we're going to start talking about the Arkansas Paranormal Expo.
Yeah.
We have several guests coming onto the show who speak there. So if you've ever been to the expo, you're going to love them. If you've not been to the expo, you're going to want to come, because you're going to hear these people talk. And so I'm going to have, we're going to have with this guy and that guy.
Coming up sometime
Oh
soon.
my God. I just totally lost
you
all
mean-
the names.
Is Joe Chin gonna be on?
Joe Chin will be on.
Yes.
And I'm
Nice.
going to have him closer to the expo. And
Keith Age. Is Keith Age gonna be
Keith
on?
Age isn't going to be at the expo this year.
Oh,
We're going to have him, but he travels a lot. So
yes, he does.
He's gonna enter into our region soon enough. We're gonna get there. But yeah, but I'm gonna start off the expo with talking to Rhonda, who puts on the expo.
Yes.
She can tell you what it's all about. And she don't like doing interviews, so it's gonna be fun to get her in there and make her uncomfortable.
Yeah. Bless her heart.
But we've also got XCon, and that'll be in just south of Kansas City. And I guess I'm going to be there as well. And we're going to talk to the Margie K, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I guess since that's a Missouri date, that's got to be.
What
one of
day
your
is that?
days. What, the XCon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask me the hard questions. I didn't write that. I was supposed to be talking to. I was supposed to be
wanna
talking
go
to Patrick
too.
Pops. It's like 2 weeks before the expo. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I have the.
I think
I have
it's between Bordertown and Arkansas.
So,
right?
Yes.
oh, okay. So that one's before Silicon. Is it Silicon?
SoCon September.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
It is 13th,
right.
14th, and 15th in just south of Kansas City, one of the burbs.
I'll have to go to that one.
For
Yes, you
September?
will have to go to that one.
No, in
No,
October.
that's October.
Oh, October. Okay.
Bordertown is in September.
So, yeah, September 30th.
So
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
before the weekend before Bordertown is Silicon.
Silicon, yeah.
yeah, it's going to be busy for all of us. We're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. But yeah, Pat Fitzhugh is the name that I was going to say that just totally it totally deleted out of my head. I was getting ready to say it. We're going to have Mr. Fitzhugh on, and he his big thing is the Bell Witch. So it always has a great presentation. Everybody always is really interested in it, so it'll be great to have him on and talk to him. So yeah, and guests are being added on now, so it's going to be a fantastic event. So my months are taken care of, my every 4th week, and then complete over to some of y'all, like I said. So that'll be good, yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking to these people, and looking forward to the events coming up.
Ken, who do you have coming up next week? Oh yeah, you already said that earlier in the show.
It started off at the beginning of the show because I was in my panic mess, freaking out. I'm gonna have to watch the beginning of the show because I know my camera was on the whole time, and I don't think, although it's muted, I'm pretty sure I didn't cuss. I think.
No, wait.
Not loudly.
I couldn't hear you. I know you mumbled a few times, but
mumbled a lot.
I'm actually trying to get a hold of a friend of mine who I'd like to talk about cemeteries, and she does a lot of fixing or repairing of cemeteries.
Oh.
So I'm gonna try to get her on one of the shows. I've talked to another friend of mine who does tarot cards and readings, and she's also a shaman, psychic, and a bunch of other names. And she has agreed to come on sometime and either demonstrate a little bit or just talk about her experiences and about card reading. And I know I've talked to Rebecca Pittman again, and she has agreed that she will be on a future show.
Okay,
but she's got to get through this book that she's currently writing about crime. It's a crime book she's writing, so that's kind of coming up. And I've got a buddy of mine. He's going to come on. Actually, Adrian, Steve, my buddy Steve, he's going to come on, and we're going to talk about a couple things. He might be on a few shows because we've been all over the place.
Yeah.
So he's going to come on at some point and
highlighting an area. That'd be great.
Ken, where is Silicon this year? It's not in the usual place. It's
no, it's not in Mattoon this year. It's in Effingham, Illinois.
Effingham.
It's
in Effingham, Illinois.
Yes.
I'd like to have some Effingham
which is nice because it's 20 minutes closer to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
still about 2 hours, but yeah. And I think I'm trying to line up something. Got some friends up in Hannibal, Missouri, that have some interesting stories up that way too. I'm gonna try to get them on at some point.
awesome. Yeah, I've still got to reach out to the gentleman for the Renaissance Fair. I'm gonna reach out to him hopefully sometime soon, so I can get him hopefully in April. And
It's in May.
I know that's in
thing,
May, but I'm hoping
I'm
to have him
definitely-
in April.
I'm
So,
going to be doing something there. I don't know.
well, I want to talk to him
Should
and
I
see what we
dress
can
up?
do. Of course,
Where's that located?
it's
It's
in
in
Muskogee.
Muskogee.
Yes.
Muskogee,
At the castle
Muskogee,
in
Oklahoma.
Muskogee.
So yeah, hopefully we can get
yeah.
us a place in there so we can kind of do some representing of us as well as them to get them.
We got to get our Star Trek
some
uniforms
notice.
all ready.
Right?
Walking around the Renaissance Fair in Star Trek uniforms.
I'm on board with
Our
that.
aliens, we should have alien uniforms. Yes.
Forgot about
The
that.
alien chasing the person, you know, where that costume that you have in October where it looks like it's chasing you, it's got
Oh,
you.
my God.
Yeah, so we should totally wear that.
You get kicked out. All right.
Okay, so we got his crew coming up next week. I have the ghost guy Jason coming up on the 14th.
Looking
Pam,
forward to that.
I have some feelers out. I have not had any responses yet, but I have a whole
we'll
2
have some.
pages worth of stuff. So yeah, I have
You
no
may have to call on your
qualms.
team to help.
Oh, my team, yeah, they've already agreed to come on whenever they want or whenever we want them to. So yeah,
Sweet.
yes. And
Well-
we've all got some great stories. So
Well, thank all of you guys for coming in and chit-chatting with us and
Definitely.
supporting us and listening to our catawampus stuff.
Eddie Wampus. And once again, this was fully amok. I mean, wow.
Right? By the seat of our pants. But I think we did good, guys. I think we did.
it's a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
we started off with tech talk, which was great.
Oh, according to Elizabeth, there was a whole Star Trek landing party last year at the Muskogee Ren Fair.
Oh,
Nice.
I didn't get to go last year, but well, maybe.
Oh, we'll have to look at it. But until next week, guys, thank you guys so much. Tune in next week for Ken's guest. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have a blast. And do y'all want to say anything else?
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.